Hi Stampin' Friends, this is Melissa the Stamp Doc, and I tried to do this as a Facebook Live, and apparently my sound cut out midway through the video. So I am reshooting the whole thing so that those of you that didn't get to watch it can. I am showing tonight my card club projects for the month of May 2025 that feature the beautiful gallery suite collection, and this is on page 52 and 53 in the new annual catalog. And this is a mega suite, which means there are 2 stamp sets and die bundles, and then a coordinating paper, also an embossing folder, embellishments, and ribbon. So lots of things come with this. We're really only using the paper, the ribbon, and the beautiful motifs stamp set, but again, all of these work well together. So let me just give you a closer look at them. One of the stamp sets is called Gallery Blooms, and it comes with all these beautiful flower images. And I've done a lot of die cutting with that, so I've got some extra pieces in here. But you get this little panel die cut and also all of the floral images cut out too. And I do have a card on my blog that was a sneak peek project if you want to check that out. So very beautiful stamp set. We're not using that one at all tonight though. The other one is Beautiful Motifs, and this one has all of your sayings in it, and then it also has 2 little background stamps also. It's got all different occasions on it, so if you're looking for something well-rounded that has a lot of different things with it, this one's great. And then it also has some really fun floral die cuts too. Again, I've got another project on my blog that you can see with this and see that in action, but we are going to use this one tonight. And then we have our embellishments. Now let me just tell you, these arrived on a really warm day followed by a really cold day. And I think that's why they kind of fell off the adhesive backing. Still work just fine. I just have to use a little bit of a glue dot or a little bit of liquid glue to put them in place, but they do work. And they're really cute little floral, pressed floral, I believe is what they're called, pressed floral motifs. So they kind of look brass-like. And then we have our beautiful basic beige ribbon, and I love this ribbon because it's really easy to tie. A lot of ribbons can be kind of hard to work with, but this one's really fun. So Card Club members will get a full roll of the basic beige ribbon to use on their projects. And then they're also going to get a full package of the beautiful gallery designer series paper. So let me just show you those in action because they are gorgeous. We haven't really had anything just like this before that has this kind of a mixture. And so it's double-sided, as you can see, and just really pretty patterns here, and patterns and landscapes. This one's one of my favorites. I just love that color combination. Few more here. Another landscape, and some of these kind of look like wallpaper to me. I just think they're so fun. Nice little kind of a fishing village look there. And then we'll be using this on one of our projects. And this little floral in the back. Beautiful blue floral and a little blue print on the back. And then we've got this in Mossy Meadow and this little landscape scene also. And we will be using 4 of those papers on our projects. So let me get myself organized here. Now with Card Club, you do need some basic supplies, so let me go over those. For these projects, I used 3 ink pads. So I used our Memento Basic Black, Mossy Meadow, which is a color that's been around for a while and is a neutral, so most people probably have this one. And then a brand new color called Secret Sea. And I really do love this because it's like a navy, but with more black to it, is the best way I could describe it. But it's just a really, really deep blue. Love this color, and we're going to use it on several of our projects. So if you don't have all of those colors, you could easily substitute the black or the mossy for, all of that if you like. Now, when I package my Card Club packets, so again, you're going to get the full package of the Designer Series paper and a full roll of the ribbon. You're also going to get supplies to make 8 cards, and there's 2 each of 4 different designs. So they're all packaged, so you'll get all of them for 2 designs in 1 envelope, and all of your pieces are inside, and then you go and you make your cards. I do send you a PDF tutorial by email that you can download. Usually I'll give you the link in your packet, and then you can just go to that anytime. So if you're not wanting to do your projects right away, you can do those at any time. So we're going to start with this top paper here. I'm going to kind of push those off to the side, and we do need our paper trimmer, so I'm going to have to go grab that real quick. All right. Because we are going to have to cut the Designer Series paper. So I cut and score everything else for you, but your Designer Series paper, you are responsible for that. So I'm going to show you how to make those cuts the right way. So with this paper right here, we're going to cut 1 inch off the bottom. And I like to use the bottom measurement there. For me, that's just a little easier. So 1 inch off the bottom, and then 1 1/4 inch off the top. So again, I'm using that there. And then we want a 1/2 inch off of each side. This is going to get this down to just the perfect size to fit on our card. And there. Okay. I'm just going to set that in my lap because I don't really, maybe. You're probably going to hear it drop at this rate. It's not going well tonight, guys. The whole video that I did earlier, the sound cut out mostly through the whole video, which really stinks. Now, I do go ahead and score these for you, so they're ready to go that way. And we're going to just use a little bit of glue here. Check how beautiful that pattern is on the back. Definitely going to have to use my scraps from that on something else. And we're going to layer that onto a piece of basic black. And this measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to put that on a basic beige card base. All of my card bases are 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. So they all open up just like this. All right, and then for our stamping, I am going to use just a little bit of this paper right here, the top part that we had of that. And I'm going to cut it down to 3/4 inch. I'm going to use the lighter part of it here. Let me go this way. And I think I put cardstock in your kit, so you'll notice that that's a little different than what I gave you. And we're going to just do the You've Been on My Mind. And let's find that one. You could also do the I'm Here For You Always. That one would work really well also. Okay. So I'm just going to stamp that right here. And we'll just lay that aside so we can clean it later. And we're going to cut that down with our scissors. So let me cover this up so I don't get ink on anything. We're going to just cut that down. And then I'm going to cut right up the center here. Let me do this up close so you can see what I'm doing. Up close there, and then we're going to cut from the end to the middle and to this end to the middle, kind of creating a little flag in. We'll just pull the rest of that out, and we've got this cute little flag. And then one of the little pieces that I had from the piece that we cut down. I'm just going to cut it down a little bit. I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to cut up and in and in. This is one of those 1/2 inch pieces that we cut off the sides of that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there so that I can tack this in place. Let me show you that close up so you can see what I'm doing there. So I'm just layering those flagged pieces there. I'm going to trim off the end here. And we're just going to put a couple of dimensionals on that and add it to our card. And we've got, you know, I've had a lot of people request thinking of you cards. This is your perfect little thinking of you card. So you can see that right there. There we go. And you have supplies to make at least 2 of these. Of course, if you've got more cardstock at home, you can make more of them in this same design if you like. All right, so our next card, this one's actually one of my favorites. And again, there's kind of a special cutting on this piece of paper. So we're going to cut this down. So we're going to cut it, we're going to put it in like this, and we're going to cut up to the 4-inch mark. Okay, so let me pull that up so you can see a little better. We're going to cut it 4 inches, and then we're going to turn it and cut it at 3 inches. And you can save this piece for the other side of the card, or the other cards, because you're going to make 2. And then you want to cut this again into 1-inch strips. So you're going to go 1, and then another one. And you kind of want to keep those in order so that they're ready to go. All right. When we've got our cutting to do here, or our stamping to do, I should say. So we've got our Mossy Meadow cardstock and a piece of basic beige. We're going to fold this, and I want to stamp, let's see, a thank you in Mossy Meadow. And I'm just going to stamp that in the lower corner here, and it just says thank you for everything. And then the other stamping we're going to do is that little background image. And we're going to stamp that just along the back edge here. So just along here, just to give it a little depth and interest on there. There we go. Oops, I didn't hit it. There we go. So it's kind of a messy look, so don't worry if that's not perfect. Mine definitely was not perfect, and that is okay. So then we're going to put our pieces of paper on. So they're going to go on just like this, and we want a little space between those. So I'm going to start with my left piece, and I'm going to use glue. I actually ran out of glue on my live video, and so I had to do this a little differently. So I'm just kind of lightly laying that there. That way if I have to wiggle it into place, I can. Other adhesives aren't quite so forgiving. I showed how to take care of it if you use a stronger adhesive and have to peel it up. Sometimes that works, and thankfully it worked during the live video, but a lot of times that doesn't work very well. All right, so we're gonna get this one on too. And then we can kind of wiggle those around to make sure they're lined up the way we want. Yeah, there we go. So I think you can kind of see what I'm talking about with the wiggle on that. Just like that. Get those all in place. So you can see we've got kind of a fractured look there. And then I'm going to tie ribbon around here. And I have a little trick with ribbon. If I'm going to tie a bow, I measure 4 times the length of whatever card I'm doing. if I'm going to tie a knot, I do 3 times the length. So this one I'm going to do a bow, and I'm just going to tie it so the bow kind of shows up in this blank space down here. And I tie bows like I tie my shoes. Not very well, probably. Sometimes they turn out perfect and sometimes they don't. But I think we're going to get a cute little bow out of this one. So see, just the right amount of ribbon on that one. And then when I do bows, I also like to put dimensionals on the back just to pop it up and give it a little room. Otherwise it gets kind of bulky and doesn't really lay right if you're trying to glue it down flat. This rim is a little more forgiving because it's pretty thin, but again, I just like to kind of give it that little extra oomph and add some dimensionals. I feel like dimensionals always takes your project to that next level. So we're gonna put this over here to the side, let that little bit there that we stamped show, and we have this beautiful thank you card. All right, so our next card is going to be a landscape card, and I think this one would be perfect as any type of masculine card, so you could really do it like anything. So this time we're going to cut 3 3/4 is where we need to hit that. So I'm going to put it in this way because I know that's how I need to do it. So we're doing it upside down, 3 3/4, and then turn it this way, and we want to do at 5 inches. So it should measure 3 3/4 inches by 5. And this one has a pretty strong look of the Secret Sea on it. So I'm going to use this blank space right up here to put my greeting. And on this one, I'm just going to do a thinking of you. Actually, I'm going to use one that says just a note. I'm going to do that one. That was the first one I did. And we're going to use the Secret Sea for this. So let me get that opened up. And again, for this particular card club, you have until May 21st to sign up. I will put the link in the description. And it is $39.99 a month, but you do get all the supplies to make these except for your ink and adhesives and your stamps, so you will need stamps with it. And you know, I do recommend this particular one. If you have trouble ordering, I'm happy to go ahead and create a cart for you, and I can send that to you that has all of these items in it, and then all you have to do is finalize the order on your own. So it's pretty easy to do the way they've got the new system set up. So I'm going to put this onto Secret Sea, and you can see it just really makes that darker blue pop. And then we're going to put it onto the cloud cover base. And I had a lot of people ask for masculine cards. I think you could do a lot of masculine cards with this set. You know, your script is not too fancy or frilly. You've got these great little landscapes. I mean, that's perfect. For this one, even, you could just easily take the little strip out of there and not do the floral. But yeah, these would be perfect masculine cards. All right, our final card is probably one of my favorites because I love this piece of paper. This has cloud cover and Secret Sea in it. So this one, we're going to turn this way first, and we're going to cut it at 4 inches, or no, I am sorry, 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2. We want a lot of this pretty paper to show, as much of it to show as possible. The paper trimmer out of my hand. I'm done playing with that. All right, I need this piece and this piece. And we've got a little stamping to do. So I need a bit of scrap paper. Let me grab another little piece here. You can see I've done that before. And here we're going to use the little squiggle background piece. Now, if you don't want to use that, you could use the one that has the little floral on that, that works fine too. I just thought this was kind of bold, but we're just gonna do squiggles down this little flap here. And this is just a basic card base, and I just trimmed it down so there's 1 inch there on the front of that. Now, let's see, let me get that off of there. And then we're gonna make this one into a wedding card. So let me find my greeting for that, because we're gonna go ahead and get that stamped. And this one says, hoping not to get too much, wishing you love and happiness that last a lifetime. So perfect for a wedding card. I had a lot of people request those too. So I think this one really covers a lot of the things people are asking for right now as far as types of cards to go with, because these are really simple, they're very pretty, and you can definitely make them for just about anybody. So I'm gonna put some glue on this inside flap here, and then this goes right inside. So I'm just gonna stack it up to make sure it's lined up there good, and I'm gonna fold this over. And then we're gonna put this on with a couple of dimensionals. Oops, I got a backing on there, so it didn't wanna come up. And of course, if we've got a card that's pretty, we definitely need a little bit of ribbon too. Now you could go in if you wanted to purchase those embellishments. I think those would be beautiful on here too. So I'm just doing 3 times this length because I'm only going to do a knot on this one instead of a bow. We're going to wrap it around and tie, maybe tie a little knot right where that changes from the cardstock to the designer series paper. And if you, like I said, if you love these cards, be sure to sign up so that you can get your hands on these too. As far as Card Club goes, it is a reoccurring subscription, but I do show you what you're getting each month, and you can decide if you want to pause or cancel at any time. There is our bridal card, our wedding card. Again, our masculine card, our thinking of you card, which just says you've been on my mind, which to me says the same thing. And then our thank you for everything. And you've also got celebrate in that. You've got a lot of different things in that stamp set. So you can always change those greetings out to fit something better or something different for whatever occasion you need. So thanks for sticking with me tonight. And I hope that you'll join me in Card Club and create these projects for yourself. Have a good night. Bye-bye.